Hey everyone, what's going on? It's me, David, and I'm here with Lucas.
What's going on, guys?
Wow, there was a lot of air in that. Like we could hear you breathing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
My
uh,
bad.
that's okay. So, today we're here to talk to you guys about some really important stuff. Um, the Apple versus the FBI whole thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. You might have, but if not, it's really important, and we're gonna break it all down for you guys. But
Mhm.
first, we're going to talk about our apps of the week, or at least Lucas has an app of the week.
Mhm.
And he's also going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy S7, like new features and stuff. So we're going to leave the Apple versus FBI thing to the end because it's probably going to be a longer discussion.
Yeah.
All right, so do you want to just start and get into it?
Yeah, so I'll start off with my app of the week. Now, I believe this app has been out for a while now. If you haven't already heard of it, this app is for both iOS and Android. It's called Stack. It's made by the same company Ketchup that made the famous game 2048.
I think it's pronounced catch app, like catch
Ketchup,
app, kind of like
yeah,
a
yeah.
clever, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So basically, you get into the app, and it kind of has a similar theme. I forgot what the other game was called,
They have a
but
lot of games.
yeah. But anyway, it's if you haven't seen that game at like Walmart, it's called Stacker, where you can win like a whole bunch of cool stuff. You basically gotta like stack a whole bunch of blocks up to get the prize. It's basically the same concept, but you get it's like with these like big squares, right? And you have to work your way up. And every time you like miss slightly, it cuts down that square until you get to like a really small object, which makes it harder, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of hard.
basically like every time that you stack it and you stack it a little bit off, it'll cut that part off.
Mhm. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. If you can try it out for yourselves, it's free on the app stores for both iOS and Android, and I have a lot of fun playing with it.
Yeah, it's a cool app. I really like it.
Hmm.
Simple, addictive. Even my dad plays it, so and he doesn't ever use apps. So yeah, so that's it with the app of the week. That was also basically my app of the week. It's pretty much the only thing I've been doing with my life.
Yeah.
I don't have any other app, but yeah, that's basically it.
Hmm.
Really cool app. Honestly, suggest that you guys get it. Actually, you know what? I'll give you another app of the week, just bonus, throw it in there. Um,
Ooh.
for iOS, it's called Countdown. If you type in Countdown, it should be the first thing there. Um, Actually, it's not the first thing in there. It's about it has like a blue icon, it has a star. Um, Basically, what it is, you can put like a date that you want coming up. So, like for example, I'm going on vacation soon, so I put mine for the day that I leave, and it's
Hmm.
cool because it's like a cool like little countdown app that you can look at. Like if you're looking forward to something, it's cool. You see how many days are left. It has a little badge if you're on iOS. There's a badge thing, which basically a badge on iOS if you don't know this already, is like this like little red dot with a number that shows like it could be a notification, like whatever value the number is.
Oh, that's
With
cool.
this app, the value of the number basically means how many days left until that event. So, um, yeah, it's pretty clever. So you just keep that wherever, maybe on your dock or home screen, and it's like a little countdown thing. I don't know. I just thought that's kind of interesting. It's kind of stupid, but it's
Mhm.
pretty
Oh, that's
dumb.
pretty
But
cool.
it's cool for some people. I guess I like it.
I believe if you have an Android, remember last time seeing it, you can get like a little widget, so it'll always be on your home screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've
Hmm.
seen some people with that. So it's a cool feature.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I guess it's kind of similar with the badge icon thing, but it's probably better on Android because the apps can take, they can have widgets and stuff on home screens or lock screens and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Wow, that was a cool app.
Not really, but okay.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on to the Samsung Galaxy S7.
Yeah.
All right, so Samsung Galaxy S7, Samsung had their keynote. about, I believe it was a week ago, and they released a whole bunch of stuff there. Um, it was actually at the World Congress. What was it called? Do you
Mobile
remember what it
World
was called?
Congress. It's a thing
Yeah,
in
Global
Barcelona.
World Con. Yeah, so Samsung released their S7 along with their new 3D camera,
Interesting.
360 camera. So that was another cool thing. But the big thing was their Samsung Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. So the new Galaxy S7, it's very similar to the S6. But now it comes in, I believe, about four colors. So you get silver titanium, you get black, which is not, it's not like a dark blue or like a light blue. It's like completely black.
I like that. I
That
like that.
Yeah. Then you can get like a blue. There's a pink. There's a like all gold. It's pretty cool. So you got a lot of color options there. Um, it's pretty much identical to the S6. If you put them side by side, you really couldn't tell them apart. The only changes that they've made was now on the Galaxy S7 is that the back is now like curved in, like they did with the Note 5, and the little silver ring around the home button is gone. So now it looks like it just blends in with the screen, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's also got a better screen.
That's cool. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
So
And it's
speaking about the
also
screen,
I thought it also brought back some functionality of the old phones, like um the storage, the removable storage, and it's waterproof.
yeah. So like the Samsung Galaxy S5 brought IP68 water dust resist the table. So you
Wait,
can
sorry, you
put
cut
this
out there
thing.
for a second. What were you saying?
It brought IP68 water and dust resistant. So you can drop this thing in water for a meter for 30 seconds. So I'll give you a little like reassurance if you by accidentally went into the pool with it or dropped it in the sink. And but it wasn't too good on the Samsung Galaxy S5 because the back was removable, and so the gasket around it got a little worn out, and the little flap covering the charging port came off easily. It didn't seal 100%, so that was an issue. So they didn't bring it for the S6, but it's back for the S7 now, and the S7 Edge.
That's
And so
good. That's good that
yeah.
they're bringing back those features and stuff.
hmm And
Um,
another thing they brought is they were able to implement a micro SD card expansion slot into the SIM tray. So you
cool.
can now, yeah, so you can believe it's up to 128 gigs of micro SD storage. Not, I mean, you probably won't need that much, but you always have that
And the phone does only
expandability.
come with 32 gigs of storage, right? There's no like
Yes,
different options
yes,
or
it
anything.
comes with 32 gigs because of that micro SD card expansion slot. And to be honest, I've had my previous phone, the LG G3, had 32 gigs, and I didn't have an issue at all. So you probably won't even need one.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like a good, yeah.
So
Um,
sorry.
sorry, no, what were you saying?
So speaking of the screen now, I was telling David this is a cool feature. It's got a new proximity sensor. So basically, what it'll do is it will remember your screen brightness settings in different light conditions. So like when you're outside, in your room, in the dark on your bed, and it will change the brightness to those previous light settings. Based on where you are. So that's pretty cool. So when you go outside and you have auto brightness on, it will like automatically jack it up, and then when you're inside, it will tone it down a little bit.
That's cool. That's good.
hmm
And it
So
has
you
a
don't
really
have to.
beautiful screen, just like last year. That
Yeah,
nice
it's good. It's
Super AMOLED. Is that what it's called?
it's 1440 by 2560. It's got it's super sharp, and the colors really pop.
Yeah, and because it's a Super AMOLED display, You get really high contrast. The blacks are really deep
Hmm.
blacks. The bright things are really bright, so that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
here's what I take of the Galaxy S7 in a nutshell. It's basically
Hmm.
like, with the iPhone 6, how Apple takes the same outer design and just, improves the internals and just makes it better. I feel like that's what they
Hmm.
did with the S7. They took the
Hmm.
S6, which had a great design, albeit a little bit like the iPhone, but, whatever. They took basically what was already a great phone with a great design, and they just made it even better without making too many
Hmm.
changes because you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly what they did.
which is,
It was
what,
a.
not a bad thing. I don't criticize
Mhm.
them for not always upgrading the design like Apple, for example. If you make a phone design that's really that good, it should last, you should use it for 2 years if it's really a good design, you know?
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
only
and
reason you'd need to upgrade a phone every year with a different design is if there was a problem with the last one, you know what I mean?
Samsung had a really big jump from the S5 to the S6 with the like an all glass and metal, uh, out, glass and metal body.
Yeah, well, I think because they made such a big jump from that, they just wanted to keep it kind of maybe the same and similar. They didn't want to throw more change in there. And
Hmm.
also, when you think about it, it's better for people who want to get like cases and stuff. They might still need new cases, but let's say somebody just picks up the phone, they might be able to get away with using one of their old cases for a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, here's another cosmetic change they made to the S7 from the S6 is they made the heart rate sensor hump and the camera hump smaller. So it's like so when you lay it down on the table, it's not flopping everywhere like it
Oh
was with the
yeah, that's right.
S6.
They
Yeah,
really
so
they didn't get rid of the camera bump, but they made it a lot better. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, and they even upgraded the battery, so it's now from 2,550 milliamps to now 3,000 milliamps.
Wow. But the phone did get thicker for that. So you know what I was saying about
Hmm.
the cases, it might not actually fit with the older cases.
So those are,
Maybe. I mean,
in
I don't
my,
know. I don't really know how much thicker it is exactly, but
it's not even that much.
oh,
And
really? Okay,
you know
so it
what?
probably would
And
work then.
and in my opinion, I think it's way better,
For sure.
right?
Honestly, a
Like
thicker
I
phone and
rather
a better
have like
battery.
an inch that's bigger by you know I'd rather have like a bigger phone than a smaller battery,
For
right?
sure. For
I'll take I'll
sure.
I'll take that any day,
Oh yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have like a thinner phone, right, when your battery goes out, you have to plug it to a portable battery, and that just makes it even bigger,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
More things to carry around. It's not, right?
Um
So
s- yeah, so I was just gonna say, I think are we done with this or did you have
hmm?
anything else to say or
No, that's all.
all right. I was just gonna say, I just wanted to tell you guys that if you're listening to our podcast or whatever, make sure that you tell your friends about it or share it or just keep
Yeah.
listening or even if you could email us at techtimepodcast1, that's the number one, like just as a number, it's not spelled out, at gmail.com. You can tweet us at techtimepodcast and you can also um, add us on Skype. Our Skype name is Tech Time Podcast. And if you, the thing is with Skype is it's cool is you can message us or leave us like video messages or audio messages, whatever. Just if you have a comment about the show, a question, excuse me, a request for us to talk about something, because we really love to hear your feedback. So you can email us or whatever you want. That we would really love it to get some feedback and stuff because we were just talking today, me and Lucas, saying like we like making the podcast. We have fun. We just kind of wish that you guys would interact more and stuff.
Hmm.
And if you're listening on Spreaker, you can also just leave a comment right there. So maybe consider that leaving us a comment or something. We would really
Hmm.
appreciate it. We love it when you guys like interact and stuff, or on SoundCloud, anything. Wherever you're listening to us, just try and leave us a comment and stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah. We actually do have a comment on our SoundCloud. Somebody says cool. You know what? Thanks.
Yeah, we're pretty cool.
Well, I hope so. Just yeah, you know what? You guys can email us, tweet us, whatever you want. I would say if I had to choose one, I really would think it's cool if you guys would comment, or even like YouTube. We also publish the podcast on YouTube. We're on a million different sites, so just comment there.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, before we get into this whole Apple versus FBI, I just want to shout out Clamor. It's an app, Clammr. We're actually on there, and the cool thing about that is that basically we post like short little snippets of our podcast on there, and then people can like listen to it, and they can listen to the full version. So if you want to just get short little snippets of the show, maybe you don't want to listen to the whole thing, go on our Clamor page. If you just go on Clamor and search up Tech Time Podcast, you should find us there. And yeah, so that's if you just want like short snippets. Anyways, that took way too long, but anyways. So, let's get into Apple versus the FBI. It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who haven't heard anything about this, let's just get right into it here, okay? Apple and the FBI are having a little bit of a scrap, okay? Here's how it went down. So, I don't know if you guys heard about the San Bernardino shooting that happened in December. It's very tragic. It was a terrorist attack. You know what? It's sad, right? It's always sad when those things happen. They actually were able to recover an iPhone 5C from the wreckage. And now the FBI has that phone. But of course it's locked with a password because these terrorists ain't stupid. They're obviously going to lock their phone with the password. Now, the reason the FBI would want to get into this is for obvious reasons, right? They want to see who was this person communicating with, were there any calls made, stuff like that. And so, if they can get into that phone, there's so much more information that they can have and stuff, and it's just better because then the FBI can say, oh, well, this person was talking to this person or called this number, and they can help track down who did it, and so that this stuff doesn't happen again. Now, what I will say is this. As much as I think that, national security is important, what are you going to do to give that security up? Well, what does the FBI want Apple to do? They want Apple to basically write, software for the phone that would allow it to be hacked. So basically the way that these iPhones work is they have it so that when you enter a password in a bunch of times, it'll lock you out. You'll have to wait 5 minutes before you can enter again. And then if you keep getting it wrong, it'll lock you up for 10 minutes and 15 minutes, and it'll eventually go for hours and days and months and whatever. So the FBI wants Apple to take that off, and they also want to take the 10 passcode delete function. So also on iOS, there's an optional setting where with the phone, you can have it so that if somebody enters the wrong password 10 times, the whole phone will wipe. The whole phone will erase everything.
Yeah.
So, the FBI wants Apple to take that off. They want Apple to take off the whole, restriction for how many times you can enter a password, before it locks you out and says, oh, try again in 5 minutes. They just want to get rid of that. Okay, so seems harmless enough. But the problem is, Apple doesn't currently have any software to do this, right? They don't have any way they don't have any possible way that this can happen. So Apple would have to actually create a backdoor and give it to the FBI so they could basically brute force the phone, right? Which a brute force means like enter a bunch of passwords and cycle through and see which one works. So if you guys are confused, just listen, you'll understand. So, the problem with that is that once a hack is created like that, not only does Apple and the FBI have it, but then a bunch of random hackers can access it. Because backdoors used to be used in software years ago. Because let's say I was having a problem with a piece of software, I could call tech support, they could get a backdoor into the software, see everything that's going on, and fix the issue. But companies stopped doing that a long time ago because they realized that hey, these programs keep getting hacked and backdoors, whatever, so people are, hacking into the software and being able to screw up other people's computers and stuff like that. That's not good. That's really not good. So, what were you going to say?
No, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, so that's why we don't do that anymore, which is why this cannot happen for Apple. There's somebody, it's possible that somebody from the FBI, someone from Apple, it's just risk for something like
Hmm.
this being out there.
And it just violates everyone's privacy because now they've created a way to get into your phone to get around that passcode, right? And it's totally what Apple's against. I was watching this YouTube video, and these guys went into the streets of New York, and they asked people what they thought of the situation, and they're all like, "Yeah, I think they should do it. If it's gonna stop, help, stop this whole thing. I think, like they're all for it, right?" But then they turned the question around. They said, "Well, what if they try to use it to get into your phone?" They're like, "No, no, no. I would never want that to happen. I don't want people going through my phone. This, and that, right? That's my privacy, all right?"
Exactly. Here's the thing, right? Apple has not done anything yet, but if
Mm-hmm.
Apple does this, the problem is not really so much with the FBI having your information or Apple having. Did I say Apple and the FBI or did I say Apple and Apple? I said Apple and the FBI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the problem is not whether Apple has the information or the FBI has your information. It's about other people getting that
Yeah.
information. It's about hackers being able to say, okay, I'm going to hack into this and steal this person's information or whatever. Or break into this person's password, whatever. That's where the problem is. The problem is not so much with the FBI having it or Apple having it, because there's a lot of people that wouldn't even want them having it. It's not even about that. It's about everyone else, harmful hackers being able to get into that. So here's where the debate part comes in, right? Everybody's split because it's basically like this. Okay, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to talk so much. I could go way more into the technical aspect of it, and well, technically, it's not a backdoor, but it kind of is a backdoor. People are saying, well, the FBI is saying, well, we're not saying a backdoor. We just want to do this, and Apple's saying, no, they're basically asking for a backdoor, and blah blah blah, and people are saying, well, the
Mm-hmm.
FBI might not use this for. The FBI is just saying they want it just for this case, but they're going to use it for other things. It could get out there in the wild, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? That's important. I like to get into the technical side of things, but I think this is more of an ethical issue and more of an issue, a cultural issue. I think this is more to do with, do we choose secure? Because now it's like we have to make a choice, right? Are we going to
Mm-hmm.
say we as a nation want to be secure and get to the bottom of this terrorism, or are we going to
Mm-hmm.
say, you know what, we need to have personal security and privacy?
Mm-hmm. And
So
that's already a big issue now. You know.
exactly, and it's like this, right? It's like, you know, we should not have to choose. We shouldn't have to choose between security or privacy of our information. Unfortunately, it's just come down to this. It's like, here's the thing, right? If Apple does create this backdoor, it could get out there in the wild. It probably
Mm-hmm.
will. It's going to change the whole landscape of security in the iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, if Apple doesn't do this, that's bad because there's terrorists. We're talking about terrorism here, which has been a huge issue lately, especially in the United States. You know, and
Yeah.
so it's just really not fair that we even
Mm-hmm.
have to choose with this. But it is what it is. The other thing is, it's not just about Apple. Hey, let's say you're like, well, I don't care. I don't use the iPhone. It doesn't even matter because depending on how Apple handles the situation, which they're totally fighting against this, but depending on how if Apple wins or loses, it's going to dictate everything in the future. It's going to not only it's going to dictate the whole future of security because think about it. If they get into Apple, right? Let's say Apple does create the backdoor because they might have to.
Mm-hmm.
Then what's going to happen is then they're going to go to Google and steal the information. They're going to go to all these other companies, Microsoft, the Android's going to be getting hacked. All this stuff is going to happen so Apple has to be firm about this, and they are, and a bunch of companies are backing them because these companies know that it could very well be them, you know? Here's the thing. With Apple, the iPhone's their huge moneymaker. That's the other thing, right? Is with the iPhone, if this does go through and the FBI does force Apple to create a backdoor, then what's going to happen to all the people with iPhones? What's going to happen to the iPhone? Are people going to switch? Are people going to, be paranoid? Is there going to be all this chaos over security? Yeah, there probably will be. Will less people buy the
Mm-hmm.
iPhone? Probably, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like a huge issue. And you know what? I mean, I have a feeling if Donald Trump does go for president, which he probably will, very
Yikes.
high chance, he's probably going to have a say, like, he's probably going to do something about this. He's probably going to want Apple to make a program.
He does. He's already saying, we
And,
have to boycott Apple. See, he
mhm,
doesn't really know what he's talking about. He doesn't know how much this is going to affect the privacy of everybody if there's something like this does get through.
mhm. He just likes to talk, and I don't really think he has any filter to what he's saying. So
For anything.
he just goes out and says what he wants because he's an American and he likes to think like most Americans, and I think that's why he's winning the election already.
hmm
But he also has to think of
I
like
think what he's saying is I think what you mean by he thinks like most Americans, he's thinking about the general public, and he's thinking like, America, obviously they want to be safe, right? Because we're from Canada. But, obviously the Americans are all about being safe and stopping terrorism and stuff. And
mhm,
so obviously Donald Trump is going to think like that too. But at the same time, the people who know better, the people who know more about this situation are saying Apple cannot make this program because although it would be very nice to have that information, it would
mhm.
be terrible for this to get out. And the other thing is, why don't they just tell Apple to get the information from the phone and give it to the FBI? Not making a backdoor, just having this one-time thing for this phone. Just like literally they can hack this phone, but that's it.
Mhm.
The hack will only apply to this one phone.
Well, it's
If
like
Apple can do that and give the FBI information, that'd be great. But the problem is the FBI is not really asking for that. There's a whole bunch of confusion on what the FBI is asking for. They're asking for a backdoor, and they're saying just for one phone. But really,
mhm.
if something like this came out, they would be able to use it for more phones, and hackers would get it, and it would be terrible.
Well, okay, it's like the cops, for example. If they find, let's say, like you were, let's make it like you had a grow house, right? And
Like you were
they would,
growing weed or
yeah,
illegal drugs, yeah.
right? They would seize all your computers and all your phones, and they would get into them and like get information from them, right? This is kind of like what's going on now because you have someone who murdered people and committed suicide, and I think
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
right
get
thing
what
to
you
do
mean.
is like give it to Apple, say, hey, we need you to get this information. But I think what they want is a program that they can use so they can unlock phones whenever they want. Because it seems like that's like a big issue for them is we can't get into these phones, and they're only making a
Exactly.
big
They're
deal
not just
about it
saying
now is
Apple, give
because it has
us.
to do with ISIS
Exactly.
or these terrorists.
They're not saying Apple, give us the information. They're saying, we want to be able to get the information ourselves and you're going to help us with a way to do it, which is ridiculous. Right? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think is going to happen? And then how do you want this to end? What's your personal opinion? Because I'm kind of torn. I really don't, I honestly,
Yeah.
I'm more leaning on the side of Apple shouldn't give them the
Mm-hmm.
information. But the other part of me is saying, well, that's
Yeah. Put it in the
also
comments.
bad. Yeah, comment to
Put it.
us or email or tweet, whatever, all the ways we mentioned before.
Share your thoughts. We want to
Yeah,
hear
I
about
actually
it.
love to hear what you guys are thinking. But I'm just curious, Lucas, like, how do you feel? What do you think is going to happen and stuff?
Well, I mean, I have a feeling that Donald Trump's going to get, when he goes president, he's going to be like, no, you guys got to do this. Or he can be smart about it and say, all right, Apple, you know what? You get the information, right? We just want, you know,
Yeah, but Lucas, that's
the
still a
phone to be
while
unlocked.
away, though. That's still a while
Yeah, I
away.
know.
Now it's more like there's court dates set for like in March, like this
Hmm.
month. There's court dates set.
And you know what? I don't know if you mentioned this already, but Google's also with this. They don't think that
That Apple should do
the
it.
FBI
Yeah, yeah,
should.
I
Yeah,
mentioned it.
there's a whole bunch of other companies that are on board with this, right?
Yeah, they totally think that Apple should not unlock it, and they should stick to their grounds. And Apple has a lot of support. And if this goes to the Supreme Court, then hopefully those guys up there are a little bit smarter into what's going on and the way that computers and hacking and stuff is, because we don't need a bunch of old guys who don't know anything that are just saying, yeah, give us the information so we're safe. They need people who know what's actually going to happen if a backdoor like this gets out into the public. That's a problem. And that's where the issue is, because a lot of these people in charge of these big decisions don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the effect of this. They can say, oh, it's not a backdoor, and we're only going to use it this instance, but who really knows? And the thing is, Apple has helped out the FBI in the past, but they've never given them a direct backdoor like this. Anyways, it's just crazy. I'm very passionate. You can see there's a little rant there.
Yeah, it's a huge privacy issue.
So to wrap this up, the reason this would be good was if Apple did give the information, obviously that's a good thing because, we need to stop the terrorism, and it'd be really good to have this information and see, how this happened, what exactly, maybe who they contacted and stuff like that, so they can prevent stuff like this in the future and find out, where it came from and everything, and who was helping orchestrate this together if there was anyone. So that would be very good to know. But also, the other thing that would be really good, but also it would be good just because the FBI can use this information in the, for other cases. They can look at other terrorist cases and see if it has anything to do with this. But the reason it would be bad is because obviously then once something like this is out, the FBI is going to use it for a lot of things, and it could get out in the public, and then anybody's phone, my phone, some random other person down the street with an iPhone, their phones could be hacked.
Exactly.
Which, so there's pros and cons. But I think that putting every single iPhone at risk is even worse. And the thing is, not only is this going to affect other companies, not only is this going to set the precedent for how, other companies are in the future, but also other countries, Let's say here in Canada something like this happened. If the FBI loses and Apple doesn't have to create a program, that's good for everyone. That's good for all the companies, all the countries. But if Apple loses, that's bad for all the countries. It's bad for all the companies and the countries, because then there might need to, then the countries might fight for information, and the companies might have to give their information up too,
there has to be, there's going to be some give and take here, but I think the FBI is just jumping the gun saying, no, we need a program, right? They're not really thinking about the situation, saying, all right, how can this benefit everyone, right?
Yeah, they're kind of just saying, what, we need this, and then, who cares if everyone's information's hacked, but that's going to be terrible.
We need this information, this is more important,
That could actually even
we'll worry
be
about
worse
that later.
for terrorism if a backdoor like this gets out,
Exactly.
So it might end up doing more harm than good. Hopefully, the one thing that lets me feel comfortable and feel good about this is that at least Apple has a lot of supporters, and there's a ton of people that are talking about why Apple shouldn't make a backdoor and why the FBI is crazy. So hopefully all these things can, hopefully all these things are gonna persuade, the FBI to just drop it and let Apple win, well, maybe they're not going to let Apple win, but what I mean is somehow they can make it so that Apple doesn't have to do this, because that would really be, bad, So hopefully there's something that can happen. I don't know 100%. I'm just saying, what, there's a lot of people on board with Apple, so, there's a good chance that Apple could come out on top. I really hope they do. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? I know,
that is all I wanted to talk about. Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just put something in here. Maybe we can talk about it next week. At the Global World Congress, LG also released first of its kind, a modular phone. So you can basically take out the bottom portion of the phone, and I believe the camera module, and you can put in a high quality DAC and amp in there, so your audio is going to sound better. You can put in a camera grip, so it's easier to hold for taking pictures. You basically turn your phone into a little point and shoot,
Oh my god, I saw
and you can put
that.
it. Yeah, you can put a bigger battery, so it's a huge step forward in the industry. I think it's could be a really cool thing.
This
But
reminded me of that whole Project Aura thing that Google and Motorola were working on, where the modular phone, where you could just swap out different pieces and stuff depending on what you need. That's kind of what this reminds me of.
hmm I don't like it because I kind of liked LG's previous style with the buttons on the back and everything, and then this is just like a complete change. And to be honest, I don't really like it. I don't really want a modular phone right now.
It's not
I personally,
100% modular though. It's only like one part of it.
yeah, but still, I mean, like they changed a lot of the things that I don't really like. So like the buttons on the back, I love that,
Oh yeah.
you know.
That's
But
kind of weird though.
they're taking a different step to. I guess that's what you got to do, right? But anyway, we'll save that for next week.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know if you want to throw anything in there about the car show that you went to here in Toronto.
hmm Oh yeah, so we went. Our field trip was to go on the to the.
Okay, people don't know what you're talking about. At school, there
Okay,
was a field trip.
at school there we went on a field trip to the auto show in Toronto, and I mean there wasn't a whole lot compared to like the auto show that's in Germany and the LA auto show in SEMA, but we saw there's a lot of cool stuff. There was the new Chevrolet Bolt, which was an electric car that was going to be under 30 grand, I believe, with
Wow.
all the government tax discounts and stuff like that.
Wow,
There
that's
was
crazy.
the Tesla Model X with the six passenger SUV with go wing doors. That's pretty cool. And also, Ford introduced their new Ford Fusion with Gorilla Glass. So the windshield's Glass. So it's light,
Whoa, that's so cool.
it's strong, and it's supposed to resist window chips. So like when you're driving behind a rock truck, I mean a dump truck full of gravel or something, it won't shatter your windshield when a rock flies out. But I don't know how that can work out because my phone has Gorilla Glass and it cracked. So
Yeah, that's very tragic, by the way. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, he cracked his phone.
rip Samsung.
Yeah, I actually wanted to like cry for you like when I saw that. Fun fact, I've actually never shattered a device in my life. I've
I
dropped things a lot. I dropped my iPad a ton. I had the iPad first gen. I dropped it all the time. Never had a case on it. It never cracked. Never cracked. And not
Lucky
even
you.
once. Not even one little one. I don't know how that thing survived. I dropped that thing from like pretty high up on like tile. Fell off my bed and it never had a case. That thing was a tank, man.
Wait, your iPhone 5?
No, my iPad, my first gen iPad.
Oh, the first gen iPad. That was a beast.
My iPhone, I've also never cracked my iPhone 5, my iPod Touch, my new iPhone. Like I've never cracked anything before. I usually wear cases though. It was only my iPad I never wore a case.
Yeah.
But yeah, how many things have you cracked, Lucas? Let me see if I
I,
can even count.
I cracked my iPod and my this phone right now, so that's two.
So that's all. That's pretty good.
I'm pretty good so far.
Yep. Well, my track record is non-existent when it comes to for cracking,
Surprisingly, both of those devices cracked with the case on, so
which is weird.
very ironic.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Well, not funny, but like, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, ironic. You
Yeah.
used a really good word there. Well, honestly, that was a really good show. I liked it.
Yeah.
Good discussion.
But it's time for us to go. So
Yes, that's true. Yes. Follow us on Twitter and everything, and YouTube and SoundCloud and Spreaker and um, what else are we on? I don't even remember at this point.
basically follow us on everything. Be sure to comment what your thoughts on the whole Apple versus FBI situation. You can either email us, put in the comments on Spreaker, put in the comments on SoundCloud, on YouTube, wherever
Exactly.
you're listening from. Be sure to like, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
The other thing is, you guys, I really want to have you guys send in Skype, like either questions, so you can like Skype chat us, you can Skype send us like a video message or an audio message, whatever. Our Skype is Tech Time Podcast. Just search that up and you should find it. Um, That'd be really cool. We'll play them in the next podcast. If you guys leave anything, you can leave suggestions, opinions for what we talked about, things that you want us to talk about, like anything you want, basically. Just feedback on how you think our show is, anything, and we'll put it in the show if it's like appropriate and stuff. So yeah, that'd be really cool if you guys could do that.
Yeah.
So it was so nice to be with talking to all you guys and everything, whoever you are. And yeah, sorry that we haven't made a show in a while, but we should be on track.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we're gonna be more consistent now. So
Yeah, I
every
think.
Tuesday,
Sorry, yeah, you were saying.
we're gonna be more consistent now. So every Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
Don't miss it.
And you can actually listen live on Spreaker as well, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. The only thing is, next week I might be available. I might not. We'll have to see. And the week after that, I know I won't be available, but I'm going to send like a pre-recorded clip in that Lucas is gonna play, so I'll still be on the show. I just won't be. It won't be like a live discussion, but yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah, I'll still be here. I'll chat with you guys, and it'll be great.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week. All right, see you guys.
All right, see ya.